What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another video. And guys, I think this is a little bit of a sad one because we are basically done with this bike here. We are done with this rebuild. In this video, you're gonna see me sort out what little issues we still have on this bike, but pretty much, man, we are done. This is my one-of-one 2020 1290 Superduke R. We bought this bike as a wrecked bike and there was a lot of stuff that needed to be fixed, so we got straight into it. We filed down, sanded and painted. We gave this bike a fresh service and made it as reliable as can be. We just forgot to change the tires. But overall, we had a blast on this bike, guys. Alrighty, there goes the Juke. I mean, it even got to go on a dyno jam. Despite owning this bike for like the past 2 years, repairs on this bike were not actually complete, but that all changes in this video. Things that still need to be replaced are this headlight. The last time when we did some repairs on this tank, we got it repainted, but the handlebars were able to touch this tank and there is a little spot here that needs a little bit of correction. The rear wheel has some road rash, so this is something that we need to fix. And because of the repair, we are going to have to repaint this entire wheel. We are also going to do the front wheel. So apart from those few things, this bike is mint, man. I've ridden this thing almost daily whenever I could, and it's never skipped a beat. So we're going to do those repairs and or replacements. And where we can, we're going to throw in some small little goodies. There's a couple of things that I've picked up along the way, but I've never fitted on the bike. So I'm gonna show you guys what those are, and then we're going to fit those onto the bike. The first thing that we have is a brand new headlight. And this, guys, this cost me an arm and a leg. So as you can see, this is not broken like the other one that we have on the bike. I went ahead as well and ordered the hardware that is required to get this on the bike. So the hardware that comes on the back here, or what you're seeing on the back here, I ordered this from KTM. It arrived and I already fitted it on here. This is very straightforward. And I've transferred the grommets as well from the old headlight to this new headlight. So this guy is pretty much ready to go. But what I think I'm also going to do in this episode is I'm going to try and wrap this headlight. So previously the old headlight had some black wrap here on the sides. And that was just so that it minimizes the amount of orange that's showing here. So all this orange on top was hidden with the black wrap. So I'm going to try and recreate that. And then I'm going to try and put a film over this headlight to sort of black it out a little bit so that the orange is not that noticeable. It's a brand new headlight. I paid a lot of money for it and I don't want to open this and try and paint the orange. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Apart from the headlight, I got a little tail tidy as well. As you can see on the bike, there is no tail tidy. So this has some indicators on it as well. As you would recall from the previous episode, or one of the previous episodes, I had to remove the indicators that were on this bike. They were mounted right over here, but the way in which they were mounted was like they were pretty much welded onto where this bolt goes. So I couldn't remove the indicators without having to destroy them. So that is what ended up happening. I had to rip them off. So we don't have indicators at the back, and this taillight is not an integrated one. So it doesn't have indicators at all. So it's always sketchy when I'm riding this bike and I have people behind me and I want to do a turn in the middle of the road. I know I have no indicators. on this thing. So usually what I do is I will pass if there are cars behind me, I will pass and I will turn up front where I can safely turn and people can see that I'm turning in the middle of the road. So this is going to solve that problem. This is a little knockoff tail tidy. It looks like an NRC one, but this is just generic one. So we'll see how this looks and fits the bike. It does come with connectors that look like the very same ones that I used on KTM, so that is a good sign. But yeah, we'll see how this looks. Okay, so enough yapping. Let me get to removing the wheels off of this bike and we're sending them off for paint. I tried to take this wheel off by myself, but this is a single-sided swing arm bike, so that's not so easy without a single-sided swing arm paddock stand. Goes without saying that I failed at that. With my tail in between my legs, I moved on to the headlight for a confidence booster. Doesn't look too bad, right? With some assistance the next day, I managed to remove the rear wheel. All that was left was the front wheel now. Discs? What discs? With both the wheels off the bike, we're now just left with the tank and the fairings. Everything is loaded up into the car and now we can hit the road. Before I forget, we have to take the tires off of the rims. Now we hit the road to HPC. Instead of waiting for paint to dry, let's head down to the Kuruman Desperados Rally.
Where's your RR? Eh? I gotta kill it. Sticky.
No ride, no round.
And that's all that I have for you guys for Kuruma. If you want some more, maybe just come to the next one. So everything that we had sent out to the boys at HP Customs is back. We have the tank right over here, we have the fairings, and underneath that, guys, we have the rims. So I know what you're thinking, why did you have the tank resprayed again? So this one is actually, that was my mistake, guys, I'm sorry. Once I had this repainted, this did not get enough time to cure, and because the handlebars on this bike do not have bump stops underneath, the handlebars came all the way side to side and they touched it on the paint before it cured, and they left a mark, the paint chipped. So I didn't like how that looked, so I had to have this tank resprayed again. Now, moving over to these fairings, there was nothing wrong with them. It's just, to me, the finish was a bit off. If you look at them now, you'll see just from this position here, it's consistent. The finish on this is consistent. Whereas previously, this was a lot more glossier than this piece here. This also had a lot of scratches on it. So I had the boys down at HPC redo the finish, the clear coat on this in a satin finish. So they did both, they redid it on this one and on this one. Now the finish on this, you'll see, man, silky smooth. This is consistent from one piece to the other. You wouldn't even know that these were made by two different manufacturers. Now, let me move away those fairings so that I can show you what these wheels look like. I tell you. Are you guys ready for this reveal? Okay. I'm gonna pull this thing out now and I'm gonna show you the work that the guys at HP Custom is doing. Ready? And bam.
You got me down again.
These are gorgeous. Like I just sit and I stare at these all day. It's like I don't want to throw these on the bike because I know there's going to be some scratches somewhere, somehow, just trying to put these back on the bike. But sheesh, man, this looks nice. This is exactly how I pictured it. This is two-tone. It was almost going to be sumo style, but just had them blended a little bit so that it sort of like fades between the black and the blue. And the same is on the front. And man, these came out very beautiful. These on the bike, sure, I'm sure this is going to look beautiful. I just need to mount the tires back on these rims and then they can go back on the bike. So it's already late today. That is completely out, but that is going to be happening first thing tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow.
And just like that, guys, it is the next day and tires are on rims. You know, I have to admit though that these wheels by themselves, the rims that is, by themselves, they really popped. But I have to admit that with the tires on the wheels, they kind of, like the black from the tires kind of takes away from that blue when it was just the rims all by themselves. I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say, but it's like the black tires have sort of dimmed the amount of blue. I don't know if it's just me or maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about that. As nice as those wheels are, we can't sit around and look at them the whole day. We still have to put the tank and everything back on the bike. So I'm going to start by installing all the hardware that came off of this tank, including all these bits and bobs, grommets, fuel pump, fuel level sensor, and all of the associated bolts. Next up is the install of the tail tidy that I showed you guys. This is also straightforward. I just mount it underneath, the bolts go straight through, and then the wiring is simple as well. You just need to plug it into existing KTM connectors. Once you have everything hooked up, you can give it a test, and there you go. You can see the indicators are working. This is the piece that holds the number plate. These are the hazards. Everything is working. So as you know, I've fitted this tail tidy over here, and this guy I've just shown, this guy works, right? So I've just plugged the wires back here. Let me just show that. I've just plugged the wires back here, and I've just tried to figure out which one was left, which one was right, and I plugged it back in here, and it works for the rear indicators. Now, the one problem that I've always had with this bike is that the indicators have never worked. And the reason for that was that this wire here, this brown wire, which I think is a ground wire, was cut. So you'll see here I've just joined it. I've joined it back into that plug there, and this is why these indicators are actually working. If I had not joined this one, these rear indicators would not be working. So from this brown wire,
You will see it. It is here. It was connected again, and it runs from this rear section all the way up to the front to over here. Here it is again here, and you will see it is here. This is actually the turn signal. This cable, it is here. That's for that indicator there. And then it runs also to the other side, which is why I say this is like a ground. I'm sure it's like a common ground here. It runs to the other indicator front right. Now everything else was cut here. As you can see, these, I don't think these are the standard connectors for the indicators. The standard connectors should look something like this. So on this side here, the left hand side, we don't have this. This is like the female connector. We don't have the male connector, and clearly it should be coming from this. This is the indicator. These two should be going into a male connector, and they should connect into this guy. You'll even see this guy here is written flasher left. This guy is for the indicator here. We'll test this guy with a multimeter in a minute, but I believe that this guy is for the indicator. On the right hand side here, I've been unable to see that female plug, but we'll see where that cable has to go. Or actually, I think this is it with the green one here. Let me just see. I'm sure this is the one here, because you see it comes all the way here and then starts going to the indicators. So on this side, they just cut it off completely because it's not there. So I'm gonna have to buy this connector kit and then come and redo these wires here. Now the reason why they've done that is because on this bike, once you have the Accra exhaust, then you get the tune for that, your indicators for some reason just stop working. So I think they cut those indicators and were trying to make it work, to sort of like bypass whatever the tune does to the indicators, and then make like a little makeshift thing for the indicators, running from the rear to the front, wada wada wada. But now the problem with that is the indicators are not working at all. The bike does start, but indicators are not working at all. So once I hook up the indicators again, back into like working condition, what should happen is that the bike might not want to start. So it will have indicators, but it might not want to start because that's what the tune does. So for that, I think we should just find another solution, but whilst still maintaining the working condition of the indicators, rather than killing the indicators altogether and having a starting bike. So I'd rather have a starting bike and working indicators. So this is how we're gonna test this. We have our trusty multimeter there set on volts, and we are grounded to the battery over there. This is the indicator wire, the flasher left wire that I showed you guys. So I'm just gonna turn on the bike here, and we are going to indicate to the left. So it is currently indicating to the left. I can see it on the rear there. And then all we need to do is just put it against this guy. There we go. That's the live wire there. And then as you can see on that is flashing there. So this wire that I grabbed is indeed for the indicator. Now let's cut all the yapping. Let's get back to work.
So I have to ditch the indicator situation for now. I have the rear hooked up, but I can't do the front because I don't have the necessary connectors. So what do we do in the meantime? We get the wheels back on the bike. So we start off with the front wheel, and I'm going along smoothly. Everything is going well, but just as I'm about to tighten up everything, I'm like, no man, hold up. Something is missing here. I look around and I'm like, I didn't fit the discs. So I go back again, everything has to come off. This time around we do it right. We put the discs on, we get the wheel back on the bike, we tighten the calipers, and we are ready to roll. We are back to this rear wheel again, and what you are seeing there is the whole 200 kgs of this bike being handled by one man and a kickstand. Well, my lovely wife came around and helped me put the rear wheel back on the bike. Yeah, boy. I then proceeded to tighten everything up, put in the retaining pins, and that is basically everything on this rear wheel done. And here it is, naked, but wheels are back on the bike, and you can see, you know what, I think I may have that bias because, I mean, it's my bike, I see it every day, but I think the wheels, they do stand out. They do stand out quite a bit. The rear, because it's a single-sided swing arm, we can see that entire rim, and that is what we're going to rely on to sell the paintwork on that rear wheel. The front, the discs, of course, are going to be in the way, and are going to cover up most of that rim, but I can still see that blue. I can still see it. So this, I feel that once the bike is all put together and it's rolling, this is still going to look sick.
2,000 years later.
Alright guys, so I'm back. I've been procrastinating, working on this bike for so long, but I think it's time we now wrap it up. So the bike is now on its two wheels, and there's just a little bit of some final touches that need to be done on this bike. The first time when I had this bike put back together, I did not put back the brake lines, and I told you guys in a previous video that I managed to get the brake lines, the original brake lines that were on this bike before they deleted them. As you can see, it's running braided lines that run straight from the calipers to the levers, and then the same thing is happening at the back. The brake lines run straight from the lever to the caliper in the back as well. So I'm going to be trying to undo all of that and get back all of the brake lines on this bike so that this bike can have ABS again. And then I already mentioned the indicators, the indicator situation. I'm still waiting on the connector, the male connector that's gonna go into this guy on the left hand side. Well, not that guy, but that type of connector as well. On the right hand side, I did show you that the indicator is here. It has its connector. There's the connector there, but just after the connector they cut it and they put these type of things. So these need to, well, this wire needs to be joined back with its partner there, and that'll be it for this right hand side indicator. But on the left hand side we're missing a connector there. Just in case you were wondering why the ABS is removed on this bike. This bike was used mainly on track, and the guys that ride on track like to have most of the bike's control just right here, their own hands. So they remove the ABS because they don't want, when they go into a corner, hard brake, and then ABS takes away some of that braking to try and prevent locking up a wheel. Some of these guys can handle locking up a wheel, like the rear wheel, locking up the rear and then getting it into a slide, and then they can go into a corner, things like that. So if you have ABS plugged in there, that can hinder some of that stuff. So to get rid of all of that stuff, they just unplug it. What you can do on this bike is just unplug all the lines and close them up with the bolts, how you see it being done here. And you don't need to remove this, so you won't get any codes. And then the ECU also just thinks that ABS is here, but in reality there's no ABS. You break full lock here, you are locking everything up. So you're locking that front up, and then full in the rear, you're locking it up, it'll slide. So yeah, that's the reason why most guys remove ABS on these bikes. So I struggled for a bit to try and figure out how these brake lines actually go on this bike, because I didn't take them off this bike, so I actually have no idea how they go on. So these ones are pretty straightforward. As you can see, here's the little bits that go on, the banjo bolts. Well, not the bolts, the parts where the banjo bolts go into, that go into the calipers. And they have this little section here, which goes underneath the lower triple. So it bolts on underneath there. But then there was this part, and I was like, oh man, where does this thing go? I had no idea where this thing goes. But what I do know is this has to leave from the handlebars and go to the ABS module. And then this has to go from the calipers to the ABS module as well. So now I had no idea where this little thing has to mount with its little, as you can see, this guy over here. But what I think has to happen is that this guy is going to go underneath the triple, the lower triple, and then this guy is gonna come and either like that or like this. Yep, I think it's like this. So this guy is gonna double up like this. How I'm holding these things together, this is gonna be a bolt right there by my fingers, and then the other bolt is gonna come in here underneath the lower triple, and this is how it's gonna hold all of this together for the front. The rear is pretty straightforward, but this front part, it actually took me a couple of days to figure this one out. I looked at the manual, I looked at all sorts of things, all sorts of guys rebuilding these, putting these back on, deleting them from the bikes to figure out how this had to go. And at the end, this is the conclusion. This is what I arrived at. This is the home stretch for this rebuild. We've come so far, we've conquered so many big things, and now we're just left with small things. The front brake lines have now been installed in their location. We start off by removing the lines which run straight from the pedal to the rear master cylinder. And from the pedal, we place it where it needs to be, which is on the ABS pump. And this is how the routing goes. The line goes from the pedal to the ABS pump, and another one goes from the ABS pump through the brake sensor to the rear master cylinder. Now we just need to bleed this, and then we are done in the rear. I wasn't too confident that I'd be able to bleed and build brake pressure in the front because I wasn't happy with the pressure in the rear. So I moved on to something that I know I'm capable of doing, which is putting the tank back on the bike. I decided that since I'm going to be in this front area, I might as well change out my front brake pads. And look at the pad material that's left on these. Anyway, can you tell that I've been procrastinating to install the front brake lines? Since I had already ran these, it's just a matter of bolting them onto the ABS pump and then we should be good. Install of these ABS lines is now done and we just put back everything as it was. The same goes for the levers. Remove the old lines, catch any excess brake fluid, install the new lines. Well, OEM lines. Side fairings are going back on, and then the balls to secure everything in place. Rinse and repeat on the other side, and then I can put back the tank trim as well as the seat. Now let's install our headlight before we head downstairs. Downstairs we have the messy job of removing the brake lines on each caliper, unlike in the rear where it was just on the master cylinder. There was one side, this is the other side. And I kind of knew just by looking at these that these did not look like the right pads. As you can see, I don't even need to open these, but this is what's coming off of the bike. This is what I got. This is what I was told was for my bike, and these do not look the same. Right off the bat, I can tell you that I am not finishing this job tonight. I guess this is for tomorrow then. So I had an issue with this guy coming out of the left-hand side brake caliper. So that was a 2-line into 1. So 2 lines were coming from the right-hand side caliper and from the levers into the left-hand side caliper. So the banjo bolt on that has two holes, right? The other one is underneath these copper washers here. So now obviously that I am now removing these aftermarket steel braided lines to put back the OEM steel braided lines, I now no longer need this 2-in-1 banjo. I now need a single banjo. So on this left hand side here, that was the case. So behind this there is a single banjo. So this one I didn't have any problems with it. And if you look at it, it's like a, let me see if this thing can pick it up. If you look at it, it's like a nut. It's like a hex nut. I don't know what we call these. These are like standard nuts, right? And if you know anything about KTM, you'll know that they like the Torx nuts all over the bike. So this is what I need. So this one is a single banjo, and as you can see, This is the KTM OE banjo, OEM or banjo for these calipers. Now this banjo here, I knew that I had this banjo because I had seen it before, way back when I was still working on this bike for the first time around. But I had no idea where this thing was, so I went around and I looked all through my stuff, and I found it just lying there in a bowl full of other nuts and bolts. And I found this guy, and I think this is the one that actually came off of this. I think these square ones, these ones that look like this, right? These I think came with these aftermarket steel braided lines that I have, and I think these came with the bike from KTM. And it's not that visible, but you can see it right there. These little Torx rounded ones, these are the ones that came out with the bike. You can see it in the rear caliper, because this rear caliper, these lines were not removed. These lines were just connected straight to the rear brake cylinder. These lines were not replaced here, which is why we still have that bolt. Anyway, let me button up this whole install here of these OEM brake lines. And just like that, we have the replacement pads. And with the power of editing, new brake pads are in. OEM brake lines are hooked up to the ABS module.
And then now we're just starting the tedious task of bleeding everything. So right now there's absolutely no pressure from the lever, but you can see as I keep pressing it, air bubbles are coming out. So I think I just have to keep at it, and at one point I will start to get pressure. Oh, look at that one. That's beautiful. Alright, so let me just keep on at it, and then I'll update you guys a bit later.
I just wanted to show you guys the backdrop of the location where I'm doing this behind me. So look at that. So if you don't know, this is Sandton CBD right here. This is in Johannesburg, and you have a very nice view, right? So on top of this very nice view, I'm also going to be giving you a very nice view of the bike. Are you guys ready? I just had that guy come through and tell me, literally he's screaming in his helmet, and he's like, nice bike. So yeah, like I said, we had a dope location. At the backdrop you have people there reading books and drinking tea, but the star of the show is right here, right? Like, you guys let me know. I'm trying to avoid the sun because it's kind of golden hour at this moment, but here we go. So star of the show, I call it. Star of the show. Rear wheel, single-sided swing arm, showing off that two-tone, like I said, sumo style paint. Just blend it in a little bit instead of like a hard cut. And then we have our custom Dominator exhaust. Shout out to Gert for that one. And then we have the carbon fiber fairings. As you can see, doing the most in the sunlight. Like I told you, the boys at HPC did these in a satin finish that is consistent on both panels. The tank also, that little chipmunk that we had here is now gone. Awesome work by those guys. Front wheel also, don't forget about it. Two-tone again, sumo style, black and blue blended. Of course the discs are gonna, steal its shine a little bit, but trust me, this looks very good. Take a look at it from this angle. And this is not even the best angle of this bike, in my opinion. This headlight, again, smoked. has a tint on it, so it's reducing, well, it's giving you a kind of smoked out effect, reducing the amount of orange that you see from the front. I mean, it's still there, but it looks a whole lot better. If you know, you know. It's one of those. And then coming in here, we have the RNG radiator guard, which is doing its job perfectly. And then on the sides, what do we have? Oh yes, at the back actually we have the custom seats with the carbon fiber look, with its pillion seat as well. And then don't forget the tail tidy at the back there. And then the booty. Please don't mind this rear tire. It's done, I know. Don't mind the rear tire, but the booty. This is the best angle, I'd say, of this bike. I don't know how to capture it on camera, but my eyes tell me. I look at it and my eyes tell me that this is the best angle of this bike. So yeah, I don't know, maybe let me just go and get a coffee as well, bask in the beauty that is this bike. All right, yeah, so that's it, guys. That's the bike. Shout out to everyone who helped me work on this bike. Gert from Dominator, HPC Customs, everyone else that I forgot to mention, the guys that helped me with the parts, the used parts and the new parts for this bike. So shout out to everyone, man. I couldn't have done this without any one of you guys. And yeah, this is pretty much the end of this rebuild. I don't know where we're gonna go to from here. So I'm gonna be selling it pretty soon. And then, I mean, I've had it for 2 years, man. I've rode this thing almost every chance I could get, and it's still here, it's still running. Clearly there's nothing wrong, you know, mechanically with it. So I'm gonna be letting it go soon. And then we'll see, yeah, what the future holds for this channel. So you guys, if you like this rebuild, if you like this type of content, please like the video, share it to your friends, subscribe, most importantly, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.